Jai Om Vishnupad Vanamansa Paribrajukacharya Stotra Shri Śrimad A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Sham Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navdeep Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Jamana Mai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Śrimad Bhāgavatam 4.8.30. Ata matra upadishtena yogena avararutsasi yat prasadam sa vai pungsam duraradhyo mato mama atamatropadishtena yogena varurutsasi yat prasadam savai pungsam duraradhyo mato mama atamatropadishtena yogena varurutsasi yat prasadam savai pumsam duraradhyo mato mama atamatropadishtena yogena varurutsasi yat prasadam savai pumsam duraradhyo mato mama atamatropadishtena yogena varurutsasi yat prasadam savai pumsam Ata, therefore, matra, by your mother, Upadishtena, being instructed, Yogena, by mystic meditation, Avarutsasi, want to elevate yourself, Yat Prasadam, whose mercy, Saha, that, Vai, certainly, Pumsam, of the living entities, Duraradyaha, very difficult to perform, Mataha, opinion, Mama, my. Now you have decided to undertake the mystic process of meditation under the instruction of your mother, just to achieve the mercy of the Lord. But in my opinion, such austerities are not possible for any ordinary man. It is very difficult to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, I think thank you. Purport. The process of Bhakti Yoga is simultaneously very difficult and very easy to perform. Sri Narad Muni, the Supreme Spiritual Master, is testing Dhruva Maharaj to see how determined he is to prosecute devotional service. This is the process of accepting a disciple. The great sage Narada has come to Dhruva under the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead just to initiate him, yet he's testing Dhruva's determination to execute the process. It is a fact, however, that for a sincere person, devotional service is very easy. But for one who's not determined and sincere, this process is very difficult. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurn Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Tadhati Shapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jatapadakamanang Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Shagrajatam Sahagana Raganatan Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savatutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitamscha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hori Priye Mancha Kulpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Bhyevacha Patidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Ata matropadishtena yogena varurutsasi yat prasadam savaipam sam dura radya mato mama. Oh, you came out here because your mother told you something. But now that you're out here, you should know that this yoga system is not very easy. Dura Raja, to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is difficult. It's difficult to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to get His mercy, difficult business. So I don't know if you really want to undertake this. And I think that will be elaborated in the in the coming verses. He'll further say some discouraging words. You don't really want to do this. It's too much. As Prabhupada comments, that means he's testing the prospective disciple. This is the duty of the spiritual master, to see whether the disciple is serious. Just to accept cheap disciples as on sentiment or whatever is not the process. One should see whether the person is serious. If it's just going to be a formality or a fashionable move, everybody's getting initiated, I should get initiated. Everybody has a spiritual name, only I don't have a spiritual name. Then what's the point? Yes, what rules will you follow? These 4 rules. Will you really follow them? No. But I'll say that I'll follow them. Then what's the point? One vows before the spiritual master, before the Vaishnavas, before the fire, that I'll do these things. I'll follow these principles. I'll chant 16 rounds. I'll follow 4 rules. Now, if we're not going to do it, why make a farce? One has to be determined. Yes, if I'm going to promise, then I'm going to do it. In Vedic culture, these vows are not taken lightly. Initiation vows, marriage vows, any vows. When we take a vow, we have to follow, just like, who was that? Rukmi. If I can't bring Rukmini back from Krishna's clutches, I'll give up my kingdom. And he did it. He failed to defeat Krishna, so he went and lived in a little village somewhere. That was his vow. He didn't say later, well, I didn't know it was going to be so difficult. No, he followed. At Maharaj Shibi, he vowed, yes, I'll protect this pigeon. The pigeon got heavier, heavier, heavier. But no, I'll give an equal amount of my own flesh. And finally put his whole body on the scale. Not to wait, something's going on here. This is not the standard weight for a pigeon. Hold on. No, he agreed. I took a vow, I have to follow it. Bali Maharaj, I vowed to give this little Brahmin boy whatever he asked, now I have to do it. I didn't know. The circumstances were different. We were young. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. This is all for dishonorable people. or people with no, what's the word? Yeah. Yes, but no, lacking in determination. Not serious. No fortitude, no. If we vow something, then we do it. Oh, I didn't know that this girl would be so witchy, or that this guy would be such a drip. I thought he was this, I thought she was that. Too bad, you took a vow, now live with it. That's all. Not, I don't like, and then excuses. Oh, I didn't know it was going to be so hard, going back to being a brahmachari. No. Vow means you must follow. That's a vow. Otherwise it's meaningless. Just to take a vow. Arjuna, I vow that I'll protect this Brahmin's child, or I'll throw myself into the fire. He couldn't protect the child. All right, now the fire. And of course Krishna had another plan, but Arjuna was prepared. Yes, I'll do this. That also, if I don't kill Jayadvaita by the end of the day, then I'll kill myself. Or Krishna had to intervene, because otherwise that would have been the end of Arjuna. He wouldn't have said, well, wait, I didn't know that the Kauravas were going to surround him and protect him. That's not fair. Hire a lawyer. Find a loophole. No. One has to follow. Then the vow becomes very powerful. That I know I have to follow this, that means now we're serious. Therefore people don't like to get married, because now they understand marriage means there's some commitment. We don't want a commitment. We want to just get together and see how it works and try it out and this and that. There's no vow. Of course, even after taking marriage vows, still they think, well, anyway, more of a hassle now, but still we can break it. But Vedic culture, no, you can't break it. If you've taken a vow, you have to follow. So Narad wants to see, is Dhruva serious? Of course, his very name means that he's determined, serious. But that's what's wanted, not a flim-flam, sentimental disciple who will say yes today and no tomorrow. There was one boy, this is Boston, 1968 maybe, 68, 69. There was one boy from New York who was attracted, and when Prabhupada went to Boston, he also went to Boston, and he was attending all of Prabhupada's lectures, and he was very keen. And when Prabhupada would leave the storefront, he'd be there by the door to help Prabhupada put on his shoes. Prabhupada said, "Oh, you're so nice. Nice, devoted behavior." And then on a morning walk, he asked Prabhupada, "Swamiji, can I be initiated?" And Prabhupada said, "First you learn the philosophy." He said, "Today if you come on sentiment, tomorrow you'll leave on sentiment." So first learn the philosophy. Not cheap thing. "Oh, Swamiji, can I be initiated?" No. You first learn the philosophy. Because it's not such a cheap thing that we just Oh yes, you can be initiated. Are you serious? And in fact, the boy didn't take initiation. He went down some other path. So the spiritual master tests the disciple to see, is this disciple serious? Srila Jiva Goswami says that this is the process, that for 1 year, the prospective guru should examine the disciple. What is his character? What is his, is he serious? And the disciple should also examine the guru. Is this a person in whom I can place my trust? Am I prepared to accept him as the representative of God, Krishna? Am I ready to surrender and do whatever he says? If not, then why make a show? Oh, let me be initiated. A big commitment to surrender to the spiritual master. That commitment should not be made lightly. That duty is placed on the prospective disciple. You examine. You examine. For so many other things we examine before we open a bank account. We check out what are the terms, what is the bank. Before we get married, we go through so much trouble. Yes, no. Invest. If you're investing money, then you'll review the investment 100 times. Before starting a business, you'll very carefully consider. But I'll accept a guru just on sentiment. No. One has to see, is the guru qualified? That means one should read the books first. What are the qualifications? Otherwise, I'm investing, but I don't know anything about investments. That's a formula for disaster. So I should know. I won't know everything because I'm only beginning, but at least I should be educated. What are the qualifications of guru? What are the obligations of the disciple? What are the obligations of the guru? What is the relationship? I should know these things. Otherwise, what am I doing? Then blind surrender. Or no surrender. I was initiated with 3 other devotees. One of them was a student at Brooklyn College. He was attending the classes at 26 2nd Avenue, and under what a participant observer program. He was doing a degree in sociology, so he could also dovetail. He could attend the kirtan, the class, chant Hare Krishna, and also write about it in that way to his degree. So he was coming, he got initiated, and that was the last we saw of him. He finished his degree, and that was all he needed. He took it up to the point of, and I got initiated. That means insincere. He wasn't actually interested in surrendering, he was only interested in completing his project. Duplicitous. Oh, that kind of disciple we don't need. One has to surrender. Tasmad gurum prapadyeta jigyasu shreya uttamam. Prapadyeta means one has to surrender. If one is seriously inquisitive about the truth. Well, to whom should I surrender? Shabde parecha nishnatam brahmani samupamashvaya. To a person who knows the conclusion of the Shastra, Shabde. Shabde parecha nishnatam. Who has faith in Shastra, who knows Shastra. And who's taken shelter of the absolute truth, the personality of Godhead. Brahmani samupamashvaya. What is that? Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam, the same thing. Shrotriyam means that he's heard. He has to come in the parampara system, not just an upstart coming out of nowhere. I have a philosophy. Shrotriyam, he has to come in the line. He has to have heard from his spiritual master, from Shastra. And Brahmanishta, he has to have faith in Krishna. So one has to do that work, not just that I look down a list. Here's a list of institutionally authorized people so I can have faith in them. That's the lazy man's business. Oh yes, they're authorized, so that's all I have to know. What, some men held an election and, held a vote and they said, okay, tick, 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 tick. No, you have to do the work, not that, and then if it doesn't work, you say, well, wait, they were authorized, he was authorized. I've been cheated. No. It's my work. I'm the one who has to decide whether I'll surrender or not surrender. Not that just from a list, and therefore, good, I don't have to do anything. I have to see. And also not that, well, doesn't really matter because Prabhupada is going to be my real guru. He is the primary guru of everyone, so I can just take initiation from Tom, Dick, or Harry. It doesn't really matter because my real guru is Prabhupada. That's all rubbish also. That's a mental concoction. Crypto-Ritvik philosophy. Then why bother? If Prabhupada's going to be my real guru, why should I bother with initiation? What's the point? And that doesn't matter. It's like Mayavad philosophy. You choose whoever you want. Ganesh, Durga, Shiva, Vishnu. Because ultimately, they're just symbols of a higher truth. So it doesn't really matter. You just take your Ishtadevata, whoever you like the most, and you worship him. But that worship is really just a formality, or until I get liberated, I'll do this. But the real truth is what stands behind all those deities. So it doesn't matter which one you choose. That's also rubbish. So one has to see that relationship is that. What is that? Chakudan dilo jay janme janme prabhu jay. That faith has to be there. That I'm ready to serve, even life after life. Not just that I get the beads, I got the name, but Prabhupada's my real guru. Do we find that anywhere in Shastra, that you just take a name, take the beads, but your real guru is your guru's guru? Anyone found that in Shastra? No. Now, I accept my guru because he represents Prabhupada. That's a different story. When Prabhupada represented his guru, his guru, his guru, finally it comes to Krishna. That we find. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshya vidu. That's the qualification of the guru. He represents his guru. He doesn't represent his own idea, his own philosophy, his own agenda. He's the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant of the servant. So one has to find such a person who's genuinely a servant of the servant of the servant. Shabde precha nishnatam brahmani samupashrayam. And the guru has to see, here's a serious candidate, not just flim-flam. So Narad Muni, he's our guru also. Krishna, Brahma, Narada. We're all descending from Narad Muni. So he's following this process, testing to see, is this man, boy, is he sincere? So, instructive incident. All right, any questions, comments? Yes, Janmashtami. I'll just repeat it, you can say.
Okay.
Okay, now you're in business.
The testing that Narada Muni is giving, is it so common in ISKCON in terms of it's really heavy? I don't think usually with new devotees, it's a very sweet and kind of gentle modality that's employed. I can think of maybe one exception, but okay. So that's one point. I'm just wondering if you would.
Well, we can't really go by what's common in ISKCON. Mm-hmm. So many things are common in ISKCON. What should we think about what's common in ISKCON? It may be common nonsense, it may be common truth, it may be common, all we know is that it's common. But it should be serious. There may be encouragement, but it shouldn't be just, ratcheting up the numbers. Just increasing the numbers. That's also part of what we want to do. We want to increase the number of devotees. After an initiation at 61 Second Avenue, Prabhupada, he was quite grave, but he was walking, he said, we have increased the disciplic succession from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's part of what we do. But it's not just that not just a numbers game. Okay, how many do you have for me to initiate? Only 20. Can you make it 40? No. There was a joke common in, talk about things common in ISKCON. This was a common joke for a while. That one sannyasi, ISKCON sannyasi approached a new devotee. Hello, my name is such and such, Swami, and your name is, immediately, my name is such and such, and your name. Not like that. We just establish a friendly relationship, and then once you're initiated, we drop you. The guru has to take responsibility. As the disciple surrendering life after life, the guru has to take responsibility, life after life, if need be. It should be serious, not a joking business that we do an initiation and we tell a few jokes and then hand off the beads. Serious business.
So this is taking...
Well, I'm thinking, it's not stereotyped that we have to, now every ISKCON guru has to give some sort of a test like Narad Muni. Not quite like that. Not that everything's, it's cookie cutter. Whereas, it is hereby ordered that every ISKCON guru will administer a test to prospective disciples following in the footsteps of Narad Muni. Not like that. Not a cookie cutter thing. But we have to see, is this person serious? Is that okay?
Of course, this took place in Satya Yuga, and the Yuga Dharma was pretty intense.
I can't hear you.
This took place during Satya Yuga, correct? I mean, that's when the...
This took place in Satya Yuga, but not that it's Kali Yuga, so we'll accept all riffraff, insincere, duplicitous people. Of course, Prabhupada said first initiation we could be a little liberal. He said, but second initiation we should be very strict. That's also there. But not that, it's Kali Yuga, so I promised, but it's Kali Yuga. Yeah, I gave him initiation, but it's Kali Yuga. The whole thing is trivialized because anyway, it's Kali Yuga. That's Kali Yuga. We have to be serious.
Usually what's that? There's Kaler Dosha Nidhe
I can't hear anything.
What is it? Kaler Dosha Nidhe, I can't think.
Kaler Dosha Nidhe Raja Nasti Hekam Hanguna.
So it's, it's the Yuga Dharma is quite different than it was in Satya Yuga in terms of, just it's...
The Yuga Dharma is different, therefore we don't say that you have to stand on one leg and, eat only leaves and do all this kind of stuff. All we ask is you follow 4 rules and chant 16 rounds. Because that's the Yuga Dharma, is chanting Hare Krishna. But we don't say, 3 rounds, 2 rounds, 2 rules, 1 rule. Anyway, try to be sincere. No. It's been reduced to a minimum for Kali Yuga. But we're not that we'll say, anyway. At least we should accept the minimum. This is the Kali Yuga minimum. We're not asking you to do the Satya Yuga stuff. That was for Dhruva Maharaj. Go to the forest, execute severe tapasya. All right. We don't ask that. We don't ask anyone, we want to see if you're serious. Go out there to the forest. No. But at least chant 16 rounds and follow 4 regulative principles. If you're not going to do that, don't come for initiation. You must. Otherwise, just say, I'm not ready. I'll come to the classes. Good. Then you're honest. And don't say yes when you really mean no.
One last point. You know, I think it's the fourth principle.
Janmashtami Prabhu.
The fourth principle of pure devotional service is to be connected with the previous acharya through the guru. And so that could, that's not like a crypto-rific, to understand the role that the Diksha Guru plays in one's life. That's an important aspect.
Yes.
Particularly with what Prabhupada did for us and what he continues to do for us.
Yes.
With his Shakti.
Yeah. Prabhupada in the center doesn't mean Prabhupada in the center and his teachings off to the side. Prabhupada taught something. So we have to understand that teaching. Otherwise, it's not that Prabhupada just taught, I'm in the center, I'm in the center, I'm in the center, and that's all you have to know. That's sentiment. He is in the center, but he's in the center especially by his example, by his teachings. Otherwise you get, what's the word? Deviation. We make a big temple, Prabhupada in the center, but then Prabhupada's teachings go off to the side. Or we pick and choose, we like these, we don't like those. Or we toss out a central teaching because, well, and on some concocted grounds. Prabhupada in the center means we have to follow what Prabhupada taught. Otherwise, Prabhupada's not in the center, you're in the center. And you're, like, what is it, like Loy Bajar, where Prabhupada's in the center, they always have a picture of Prabhupada, but their prophet is in the center. And Prabhupada is just a device for getting you to be a customer. So, everybody, Prabhupada. No. It's not sentiment. Prabhupada. We have to follow Prabhupada, which means we have to read his books, we have to do what the books say. We have to assimilate these things, not just Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya. I'm not against Jaya Prabhupada, but along with Jaya Prabhupada has to come, well, who is Prabhupada? What did he teach? Are we following properly? Not just like a decal. Prabhupada's not just a decal. He's teaching something serious. So we have a science. So we have to learn that science. And then that's actually honoring Prabhupada, that's actually putting Prabhupada in the center. Not just that we sentimentally, I saw in Mayapur, they had somebody put a big banner on the fence of the Samadhi for a pizza joint, the ISKCON pizza place. And, they have a picture of Prabhupada and all that. That's not, what is that? That Prabhupada's role is to bless my pizza parlor? It's serious business. And Prabhupada was a serious person, serious teacher. And he had something serious to say.
Before the Bhaktivedanta Veda base was released to the public, Bir Krishna Maharaj, from North Carolina, GBC, he did research on all the letters that Srila Prabhupada sent to the GBC, and he found something in practically every letter. Prabhupada stressed to the GBC that your most important responsibility is to make sure that everyone in your temples attend the full morning program. And a lot of places that's not honored anymore, But it's so important, that with Prabhupada.
See that everyone is following the regulative principles, rising early in the morning, so on and so on. Attending the class, the Mangalarti, yes. Then yes. Maji, Hare Krishna.
¿Lo puede contestar en inglés? Pero mi inglés no es bueno.
Más cerca, por favor.
Mi inglés no es bueno, por eso no hago
Bueno,
la pregunta.
español sirve.
Yo quería
Pero un
preguntar,
poco despacio.
yo quería preguntarle por los niños que nacen en la conciencia de Krishna ya y cómo podemos ayudarlos a quedar en...
How can we help the children stay in Krishna consciousness? Well, Madre, esto no es mi tema de expertise. It's not my field, you know. But you better that you ask someone who's experienced in these things. I don't have a great, I don't have any children. I don't really work with children. I don't even like children. So, but the first thing is that we have to be Krishna conscious. If we're not serious, we can't demand that children be serious. They're very smart in that regard. Their hypocrisy detectors are finely tuned at a young age. So but you're not doing, why do I have to? Any kid figures that out very quickly. But you're doing this, why do I have to do that? Any kid figures that. So the first thing is that we have to be serious. And we have to follow. And the tendency of children is that they'll follow what their parents do. They'll imitate. Parents are bowing down, children will bow down. So that's the first thing. We have to be serious. And we actually have to want them to become Krishna conscious. I see so often what the parents want is not actually devotees, they want dharmic karmis. My child should be well educated, my child should have a good job, my child should have a nice family life, and he should be a devotee. It's like someplace down the priority line. My child should be a devotee. But the main thing is that he get his degree, that he get a good job, that he get a good wife, that he be earning nicely, that he has a nice house, a good car, that's it. And he should be a devotee. Well, you'll get what maybe at best you'll get what you're hoping for. More likely, you'll get the first 3 or the first 4, and the last one down the line there, oh yeah, my mom wanted me, she always used to say something about I should be a devotee. But I never had time to read a book or chant Hare Krishna because I was attending classes, from the age of 4. So first thing is we have to be devotees. Next thing is actually we have to genuinely desire that they become devotees. Then proper training. And for the rest, talk to the experts. Okay. Yes?
One response that occurs to me, believe it was Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, anyway, one of the two, wrote an article that I read when I first moved to Vrindavan to help the Gurukul in Vrindavan. Braja Bihari gave it to me. And I think it was in there, that the kind of the Mahavakyam for raising children and for educating them is that these are not ordinary children. We should love them. Now, actually, I guess maybe that was Prabhupada, but there was another article. Anyway, I'm a little confused. But that was something that was propagated in the early days. The Gurukul. These are not ordinary children. They're from Vaikuntha. They're Vaikuntha children. We should love them. Mm-hmm. So that kind of really affectionate mood, rather than the fear-based slap 'em mood.
Also, we should know that Maya is working full time. And with every tool at her disposal, everything from massive multiplayer games to smartphones, to social media platforms, to this, to that. You know, everything is to drugs, to, you know, everything is there. Every kind of nonsense is there. And so we're going to have our children exposed to these things, you know, full time. And then we're going to do, you know, a Sunday school for an hour. Well, that's not exactly parity, is it? So if you're expecting that your child will be immersed in all nonsense 6 3/4 days a week, and that your little hour of Hare Krishna is going to, you know, turn him into a pure Vaishnava, your expectations are probably over-optimistic. It takes more than that. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, you were mentioning that boy who Prabhupada said learn the philosophy first, then take initiation. And it made me think of Mukunda Datta Prabhu's class, where he mentioned a lot of people go decades in the movement, then the philosophy's true meaning dawns on them, and then
I can't hear you. One thing is you're holding that microphone very low, and the other thing is the acoustics, and the third thing is my ears. So
closer or farther?
Yeah, you can do it that way, without the microphone. I'll hear better.
So Mukunda Datta Prabhu mentioned that he'd seen many people who had a long, long period of time in Krishna consciousness, and then the philosophy dawned on them, and then they left.
Yeah, Mukunda Datta Prabhu mentioned that many people spent a long time in Krishna consciousness, then the philosophy dawned on them and they left.
So how do we know that we actually understand it before we take initiation, so that we actually get serious?
How do we know that we actually understand it before initiation? Well, read the books, ask the questions, interrogate it, interrogate the person that you're approaching, interrogate the devotees, not in a, what's the word, military, adversarial sense, but, drill deep. Drill deep. What are they teaching here? What's their conclusion? What is that? Tadvidhi pranipaten and pariprashna. Questions. And we take a surrendered mood, but then we ask questions. And seveya, by service. We get realization by serving also, not just by reading. And if we just theoretically read and we don't serve, we'll have a hard time understanding what we're reading. But if we read, we serve, we ask questions, a surrendered mood, then everything will come. Is that okay? And we are over time, and so we are stopping here. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna. All glories to